All right, all to the doctors of the personal injury doctors elite community. Hey, I tracked down one of our annual sponsors today, a great guy, a personality, and he's busy, 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 but we wanted to update a lot of things he's doing out there for our personal injury doctors. And not only that, just other professionals out there. We got Kevin Sullivan today, one of our annual sponsors for the last 2, 3 years. I think he's staying with us and doing much, much good things. He's always focusing on what your practice evaluation is, but many more things that he will describe and go over today. A little bit about Kevin. He's the president, CEO, Wealth Advisors. He's got 3 or 4 offices and trying to get another one, I think. He's been a popular guy out there roaming around the states, and he's been in the financial services. 89 was the year. He also is an author of a book, Managing Income in Retirement, and maybe many more after that, Planning with Purpose. And he's just been active in a lot of states, 14 plus states, just working with a lot of the medical community and advising you on what you should be doing with some of the good stuff that comes into your offices, like money. So, Kevin, thanks for being our guest today, and glad I got hold of you today and your time. I know you're a busy guy, so we wanted to just get an update on what you've been doing out there, helping a lot, not only our doctors, but things you're doing out there in the financial world. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be part of this community. I'm looking over here because this is where my camera's at, but it's a pleasure to be working with the doctors in this community, helping them out in all different ways. We work with clients now in 15 different states. And so if we're not licensed in one of those states that you're in, we can certainly look at that. And we just want to make sure you're getting the help that you need from proactive resources like we provide to our doctors. It's been a pleasure working with some of the doctors on their business valuation so that they can understand how that it relates to their overall financial security and health. So they're pleasantly surprised when they go through that process to see how they can take some of those key indicators and use those for growth opportunities now, not waiting till down the road somewhere. They're using them now and it kind of igniting a new fire underneath them as they go through that process. So it's kind of neat to see the light bulb go on. It's really neat to roll up your sleeves and work with them that way. I hope you can kind of get a sense of the passion and the commitment that we do. We just love what we do and helping people in that fashion. The other thing we do obviously is wealth management and wealth strategies. We go through great lengths to create customized portfolios for our clients. And you might not think that this is like a big deal, but when you look at what's going on out there in the world today, everything is becoming more sterile, more cookie cutter, more emotionless, if I could say. And I find in looking and reviewing over many doctor portfolios that the service that they're getting from their existing firm is almost boring at times. I hear that it's sterile. That's why I kind of use that word. The lack of passion comes through to really listen and try to drill down to the needs that the doctor has, that you have. I say doctors, but I'm talking to you, that you might have to get you where you want to go. And it doesn't matter what kind of goal you have, whether that's a retirement goal, a transition goal, selling your practice goal, finding a successor goal, minimizing taxes, as a goal. We want to make sure that you're getting customized solutions. And that, the old adage of listen twice as hard as you speak, because you have 2 ears and one mouth. That's really what we try to do is do that for our doctor clients so that we're delivering that customized service to you. What does that mean? When you get customization, for example, there's a lot of firms that will run you through a risk tolerance questionnaire to try to find out what your risk tolerance is. And then out of that, they'll say, okay, many people like you invest like this based on your answers. Well, that's okay. But what's a better route to say is okay, what if we scored you on a risk tolerance of 1 to 100 and you came in at a 56? Or you came in at a 30 where 1 is zero risk and 100 is all the risk that you could handle, maybe walk the plank a little bit, super volatile. And let's say you came in at a 56. We will show you what a 56 looks like. We'll show you what a 35 looks like. We'll show you what an 89 looks like. So that way it's customized to you. And the way we backfill that in our process working with the doctors is we'll take that same questionnaire and ask you those questions annually. So if you start to answer those questions in the same fashion, then it tells you as an investor, hey, stay the course and here's why, because your answers were still the same. If you had an inheritance or if you felt like taking on more or less risk, maybe you'll answer those questions a little differently. And maybe you can say, okay, well, I was a 56, but now I'm a 48 because of the way I answered those questions. And so many times we have this aha moment with the doctors to say, okay, can you look at what we're doing now with the firm that we're with? It could be an investment company like Schwab or Vanguard or wherever your money's being managed. And a lot of times you'll be surprised at how much risk you are taking versus the way you answer the questions. So if you come through our process, what we will do is we'll show you where you're at now. We'll show you what number looks like now from a risk point of view. And if you're at an 89, the way your money's being managed now, and you're supposed to be a 56 because that's the way you answered the questionnaire, then we will help you with that disconnect. And we'll show you what a 56 looks like. And you'll say, okay, well, goodness, maybe we don't need to take on as much risk as we thought we were going to have to achieve the same results. Wouldn't that be nice? But I go through a lot of times I go through this process with people, and it's just such an eye opener. And I tell my wife Diane all the time, we're in the kitchen talking or so, and we're saying it's just amazing how many people do not know. And it doesn't matter if you're a doctor, if you're an engineer, if you're a business owner, it's just how many people do not know where they stand, how much risk they're taking, or how much they might need for their financial security. And then again, how long it will last. We just completed working with a doctor, and they wanted to know if $100,000 a year would be okay to retire on. So okay, we run the numbers, we ran the whole process and did our process that we work on with doctors, and turns out they could take up to 140,000 and still be okay and still have that money last into their 90s. So if you're a doctor out there wondering, hey, I'm 2 to 3 years out, or I'm 5 to 10 years out, what pace am I on? How close to my numbers am I? Wouldn't you want to know that? This is what we do, and this is the kind of clarity and proactiveness that we bring to our clients to say, hey, look, you can do $100,000, but you could go as high as 140 if you had to and still be okay. But even if that spread's not that great, maybe it's 100 to 110, wouldn't you still want to know that? And so this is the type of answers that we can bring to the table when we work together to make sure you're getting those customized solutions. So Tony, I just thought I'd share that with you here this morning right off the bat, because that's what a lot of doctors are finding some traction on, to say, now we know. And once you know, you've got that baseline, and then you can monitor it moving forward from there.
Yeah, no doubt. Those are some great points you are bringing up with a lot of doctors, and not only that, other business people that you work with that are in the dark of what the actual situation is with their risk and financial situation. A lot of our doctors, they look, some of them don't even have practice evaluations, and some of them don't even know how to do those, and they can use that as part of their assets and their assets. Right. I don't know if I said it right or not. In their portfolio that they're missing, that they don't add in there because they don't know where they're at in their practice. Right. You got accounts receivable, you got people, you got equipment, you got all those different things. I know Kevin has gone over that with many of the doctors that he can help you out with to put that together. And that's just one point. But his points are right with the dullness of maybe your financial advisor you have now. We're not going to take business away from people, but you got to take a look at it. Just like your practice, and you see a patient 3 times a day, 3 times a week, and you do the same things, same treatment. And if you don't make it exciting for the patient, there's a lot of times in practice management, you said patient dropping out of the practice because there's nothing excitement anymore. It's just, they just know what's going to happen that same visit, where we used to put them in different colored rooms, different tables,
Mm,
every time when they came in, because it's like, oh, what am I going to get today? It feeds good excitement into your
right,
practice, and that's on the practice management part that we
right.
teach. But Kevin's right. There's got to be an isolation. Maybe there's some more excitement things that you might not know about that he can give you, and that's why we have him on our team and
Well, even
practice.
regarding the practice piece too, can you imagine delivering the type of treatment that would be custom, the cookie cutter to everybody? I think one thing that the doctors can really revisit is take a look at how you're delivering your practice experience to your patients, because that way, if you always bring them back to the why, that's going to be a great move, because they'll say, okay, this is why we're doing what we're doing, and that brings it alive again. And same with finance, same thing.
Doc, and your patients want to know what it is. Well, how can I get help? If you can help me, how
Right?
long and how much is the 4 points. So that's the same
Yeah.
thing Kevin on his end can give you is different things that what do I have available? How should I move it around? Maybe keep it fixed, keep it maybe
Hmm.
diversify, and what values do I have in my practice and so forth in my personal
Hmm.
life and business. So those are the same kind of a relationship at different business subject foundations, but it's the same thing going
Yeah.
through life with the same kind of subject. So,
Right.
all
Right.
right. So are you still doing the podcast? Those are great
Yes,
things.
we have two new exciting podcasts that we're shooting here in one at the beginning of May, and then one towards the end of May. From One's a CPA is coming on with his wife, and that one's going to be kind of interesting because his wife markets with him in the practice, and they do it together. And I thought, man, this would be a great content for the doctors to see, because maybe spouses feel isolated and they're not part of your practice. But how can you bring in your spouse to market in an effective way that just it's number one fun, but then you can grow your practice and involve your spouse too, whether it's the doctor's the female or the male, however combination that you have, just bringing them into the practice to market. So that's going to be an exciting one. The other one's with another CPA that's going to bring some content about entity structuring and how to set up entities so that you can minimize taxes, or at least minimize your liability, that you have regarding real estate and properties and things like that.
No doubt. If you haven't visited his website, and he has all the different subject matter podcasts, they are great to have, great information to be informed on different things that Kevin does go over with these special personalities that
Hmm.
he interviews. And I was even one. So anyway,
Yes, you
he's
were.
used a few of our members as
Yes.
his celebrity speakers. So if you have an interest at all, contact him. Maybe you might have a subject matter that will help a lot of our doctors in the community doing different things, and Kevin
Right.
can review it and see if that's viable for his podcast. And we thank you for that, Kevin.
Yeah, I wanted to offer just some resources here too. There's three critical things that doctors, especially doctors, need to look at when you're checking your overall financial health. I just gave you one of them when it talks about how you manage and assess risk, and all of the things that go around with that. That's one piece, and we can flush that out a little bit more too. But if you're interested in finding out what the other two are, and they're huge, just go to my website, go to kdsullivanwealthstrategies.com, hit the /contact, or go to the contact page, fill out your name and a brief message. We'll set up a time so that we'll do this one-on-one. I'll provide you with a free and complimentary look at your situation so that we can give you insights and pointers. Hey, if nothing else, you get to say, here's what we're doing, and we're having a second set of eyes on what we have. And that's always a good confirmation either way. And if you do that, I'll throw in a copy of my book, Managing Income in Retirement, Planning with Purpose, for free. Won't cost you anything. It's a great, I think it's like 148 pages in a hardcover. We'll send you that free. We did that to one of our other doctors. He was just amazed when he got that. And it's just a great piece that you can, and I wrote it in layman's terms so that you can really understand the concepts. I didn't want to go techno on anybody, but when I wrote it, I just wanted to say, look, these are timeless truths on how you can manage income even before retirement. You don't have to wait till you get there. It's just a neat way for you to look at it. It doesn't sell any products, any services. It just talks about the concepts of the things that you need to look at. And then we'll give you those other two of the three critical pieces that doctors especially need to focus on for their wealth.
Yeah, no doubt. Jump on and contact him, and talking to the newer members and the newer doctors coming on. This is the time. Don't wait 10, 15 years. Start early. Get it all set up, and you can go along as part of your estate planning at the end of each year, because that's when you're way ahead of the game in life. Many will wait. Oh, well, I'm so far in student debt and everything else.
Right.
But just get the information, set it all up. Kevin, we had a couple of doctors ask, I have a financial advisor and I'm kind of wanting to change, maybe come over to your firm. Does the financial advisor, do they charge anything for, and you might have, I guess it might be each individual professional, I guess. Do they charge anything for leaving your firm and moving everything
Okay.
over to such like a firm like yours? I know attorneys do that. You
Great
leave in my
question.
office, I'm going to charge you my fee, and then you got to go to another attorney.
Oh, don't they
Maybe
love to do
enlighten us
that
on
too?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, a short answer to that question, it depends on the firm, but a lot of times it's account driven. It's not from the, in other words, like if you leave, there could be like a $150 charge to close out an account and to move it elsewhere, that type of thing. It's like an admin fee that most firms would have per account, that type of thing. But what we do in the transfer, and a good, thanks for bringing this up, because this is how we get many, many, many clients. If I could say 90% of all statistics are made up on the spot, there's a little humor there, but probably 90% of the clients that we do get are people from dissatisfied, firms, where they're not happy with the service, they're not happy with the performance or the direction. So what we do is in that account transfer process, everything comes over line by line as is, so that we can see and make sure it gets here okay. And then if there's any resetting that we do based on the questionnaire and all of that, we reset things at that point. But there's no charge to come in. We would talk to you about how we might be able to work together. And all of those conversations would be done before anything ever happened. But in general, it's just like an admin fee that these firms would charge, maybe $100, $150 per account kind of thing.
Well, that's actually great to know, because I know they asked me and I said, I have no idea. This is something, maybe Kevin can answer what you did, which is great, because a lot of them think, well, I have, $300,000-$400,000 in this account or something. If I take it out and move it over to your firm, Kevin, they're going to charge me 10%. That holds them up for doing anything.
Oh, yeah.
Now that knowing that it's just administration fees, maybe legally that they can only charge, that helps them make more of a decision if they're unhappy. If they're happy, they're happy. But
and this is
that
something
was
we
a
would
great
look at,
question to answer.
Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean to.
Oh, that's okay. No problem.
I was going to say, this is something that we would look at individually, and I'd let them know. We would find out before anything is ever. And when I talk to you about the passion of what we do, I hope you can sense that. I've been doing this for 35 years, and the day that I don't enjoy it or don't have a passion to serve others is the day I need to fold up shop and just retire and get out of Dodge. We love what we're doing. We love taking care of people. We have had this doctor that we're working with down in North Carolina. He goes, I don't know if it was the timing was just right. He says, but nobody has ever paid attention to me, with my accounts the way that you have. And I just feel so good knowing that you're proactively calling me and giving me these kind of strategies. So when I use these words, it's just really just coming from the clients.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I've gotten lots of good credibility reports on you working with some of the doctors, and I appreciate all the dedication you give our PAI doctors community, and probably all the other businesses and people that you
It's an
work with.
honor.
I'm sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Just by knowing you and your personality. So, all right. So what you got coming up? You got any more? You got any courses or anything that we can alert them in May, June? If not, we'll get back with you and make sure they get the information,
Sure.
possibly join in.
Right. Well, as soon as those two podcasts are released, those are two new things. We're working on several different webinars that we're working on that would love to have the doctors jump in on some webinars. We would love to give that content out to you and get the invites out to do that as they come available. The first one, even now, 3 critical areas that doctors need to focus in on for their financial health. That one is a foundation. I think if there's anyone that would want to go through that, I could go through it in the meantime, just one-on-one with them and just kind of share those thoughts with them. If they want to just send the contact information to me, would be more than happy to do it. Or you could wait for the webinar. We'll get it out as soon as possible. You can jump on and replay it as many times as you'd like.
No doubt. And doctors,
Yeah.
stay tuned. More coming in this upcoming year
Yeah.
as Kevin being with our PI Doctor Elite community. All right. Make sure you contact him. We'll have everything posted underneath this session. We'll go live. This isn't a recorded session, so we'll go live on the community so you can get all the points again that Kevin has mentioned, and also all his information to contact him when you are ready to get that great information from his professionals. So, all right, Kevin, we'll close up session here unless you want to
Yes,
add some
thank
more,
you.
but thank you
No, this
for
is fine.
all
Thank
of
you,
your
Dr.
time
Tony. Yeah.
and expertise and being part of our doctors community to help them specifically on all their needs. So we'll keep you posted. We'll keep you in the community. Thanks for all your comments and all the help you do give the doctors with your information. And we'll go forth and stay healthy, happy, and make it happen. So,
All right. Thank you so much.
all right, Kevin, I'll talk to you down the line. Thanks again, doctors. If you came on a little later in this podcast, we are talking with Kevin R. Sullivan. He's the president and CEO of Wealth Advisors, KD Sullivan Wealth Strategies. He's been given a lot of good advice and a lot of helping with a lot of our PI Doctors Elite members over the last couple of years, and he supports us with an annual sponsorship. We thank him for that. So make sure you contact him on all your needs, whether it be a practice evaluation, whether it be other things that he has mentioned in this session on the health of your financial needs. He can do it for you. All right, Kev, we'll let him go
Thank
to
you,
the
sir.
afternoon patient rounds. Thank you so much. We'll be
got it.
talking down the line. You stay healthy up there. And
Okay.
you
Thank
are
you so much.
craziness going on in there. All right.
Yeah, right.
All right, Dr. Tony, your administrator and founder, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the doctors community. All right, the session's now ended. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.